Let's see what this unpopular opinion. Bolt Storm and Flame Gauntlets would be almost impossible to balance. Gotta. Why? Well, let me elaborate. The gauntlets that some people wish to see on Heavy come in two flavors. Power Fist and Bolter, Power Fist and Flamer. Now, why would this be hard to balance? Look at the Pyre Blaster. It has insane horde clear and can deal immense damage to bosses, especially with damage over time. Now look at the Power Fist. The fist absolutely mulches anything with its charged attacks. Not just charged attacks. Bolters would be a bit more balanced since bolters are a bit understrength in Space Marine 2, but the issue of the fucking Reddit, the the fucking fist they're attached to remains. Looking further into it, Heavy's perks are not significant. Increase melee damage by 30%, increase melee damage by 100% for Heavy, the range class, whatever. Now, couple that with a Power Fist that also has the crowd clearing capability of a Pyre Blaster. See what I mean? A Power Fist with up to 130% extra damage. Listen, you can, at least on Assault, I'm working on a build right now. It seems like Assault with Power Fist caps out at like, just shy of 600% damage boost on light attacks. And I think just shy of 300% damage boost on heavy attacks. This is nothing. Nothing! This is pussy shit. Baby shit. Anyways, fire with horde clearing boss damage be single strongest weapon in game. No, it wouldn't. 130% extra damage on a power fist is far from the strongest thing ever in the fucking game, bro. Boltstorm and flame gauntlets would only really work one of two ways. Heavy's melee perks get balanced around it, which they're insignificant, so it doesn't matter, and the respective bolter and flame attachment is down-tuned from standard weapons of this type, not really necessary, or the fist gets a significant decrease in melee damage, perhaps even removing the ability to charge attack. That's the only interesting thing here. This is this is the only thing that makes sense for the post. Otherwise, this isn't an unpopular opinion, it's just an uninformed opinion. Oh man. 68 updates? Only 30 comments. That's kind of crazy. Or just don't introduce melee to the class called heavy. Yeah, there's plenty of other heavy weapons they can bring in, so why worry about adding melee to a class that doesn't need it? So I think he's talking about the having power fists on heavy. I don't understand why they don't add more unique finishing moves with class skills. Yeah. They're very hard to program, I assume, and they can't reuse them. They can't reuse those assets on multiple classes. A heavy could destroy, shoot, crush with its heavy weapon, not with bare fists, which does look ridiculous. And an assault could burn, smash with a jump pack dash, and so on with other classes. Yeah, it would be awesome. They're not going to do this, not for this game. I mean, maybe for 3, but... The same banner could be used to impale Terminids for the Bastion. What? Termit. That's Helldivers and Bastion. He means Bulwark. Show me anyone who wouldn't want that kind of animation. Well, no one. They have ridiculously few finishers. Yes, they do. Would love to see different types of finishers, but that's all precious time for animators and programmers, and I would rather see new enemies and new classes come out. But new finishers would be awesome. Because it's cool. I don't know what he's complained to the Inquisition regarding suspicion of heresy sent. Heavy being able to use melee is 100% fine with me. Yeah, it's necessary, but sacrificing heavier weaponry for melee seems fair, IMO. They could even balance Flamestorm and Boltstorm gauntlets with ammo economy to keep them from being too OP. Yes, that's good balancing, and that's cheap balancing. In terms of, having to make a new weapon, you gotta save space somewhere. You're making another One percenter. You're making the assumption that Flamestorm Gauntlets equals 2 and 2. If they were to introduce these weapons, it would be pretty obviously balanced in their own way, kind of like everything else. I think it would be more like if you're gonna use the ranged weapons, you probably just stick both fists out in front of you when you shoot. And if you use the melee, they probably just have like this would all take a lot of work, but it would probably just be like you do your normal melee attacks and you just the animations use both fists instead of just one. If they were to introduce these weapons, they would pretty obviously be balanced in their own way, kind of like everything else. Yes. Most people don't understand how game design works. They don't have a understanding of the actual process that goes into adding something to a game and what balance actually means. I don't know why I became a grammar Nazi over that, but it's Anne. Wait, what part is OP making that assumption? Their argument is that the Pyro Blaster is already a pretty decent weapon, but heavy is not balanced for taking a real melee weapon. That's the game design issue here, introducing a melee weapon on a class designed to stomp, hence why they got significantly higher melee damage perks to accommodate for the weaker melee. But now if they introduce a real melee weapon, that 130+% melee damage would be busted, or requiring the base weapon itself to be weaker than normal to account for all of level 30 to base weapon must be weaker to account for the level 30 buffs. Level 30. Do you mean the prestige? Versions matching others. It's either an early game problem, fists with lower base damage, or a late game problem and perks rework. Granted, this is a co-op game, so balance is not as important as what makes OP made it out to be, but is still a game designing problem. I don't think it. I think this guy's off base. Like I said, nearly 600% melee damage boost on the same weapon, or what would track to the same melee weapon. 130% damage is not a lot. In like even if you take out the team part of that combo for the build, it's still probably around 450, 430, 450 to 430-ish% damage boost for light attacks. Over 400%. Over 400% damage boost for light attacks. That's on assault with the fist. I don't know. I don't know why these guys are geeking over 130%. You're making the same assumption. There's no reason Gauntlet equals Power Fist. There's no guarantee Heavy would be the class to make an aggressor. Yeah, they'd just make a new class, honestly. They would need new armor. Bro, Heavy doesn't... Heavy wears some of this shit, but that's way bigger of a backpack. Whatever. They could remove the ability to do charged attacks, yep, and just leave it doing regular attacks. It would still be strong, but not as broken as having regular Power Fist with bolters. That's going with the assumption that if they were to implement these new weapons, they would have the same moveset. Changing the moveset can completely balance it. Yeah, like well, for Fist, it basically would be the same set. You can change the order of what punches occur, but it'd be like right, left, right. It'd probably just be some boxing shit, honestly. They could also just tune the numbers to balance it. No, it's not. It's not a Power Fist with a Pyroblast attached. It is simply a new item. This is the game design thing. They got a point about that, whoever said it. It's not just, like, changing numbers on, like, a fucking, like, spreadsheet or, just going in and changing a number in a particular line of code. All this shit stacks on top of itself. This game's, like, fucking... It's probably not fair to call it spaghetti code, but I'm sure it's poorly optimized. It probably wouldn't work. Doing stuff like this is how you fuck up everything. This is like, people think like this, And then they think like, oh, it's as simple as that. No, it's notch like going in and trying to code a pig in Minecraft beta and creating the creeper on accident. Like that's what would happen. You want a pig? Get a creeper. Okay? That's what they're thinking. That's what they don't imagine would happen, but that's exactly what would happen. Oh, literally the whole point of playing as a Space Marine is to play as an Emperor's Angel, and more than plenty of people want to have a proper power trip Why'd you capitalize all that? And I'll admit, I'm one of them. Also, I personally feel like Heavy is a bit underpowered based on my own experience in watching other Heavy. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Calling probably the most powerful class in the game, I assume underpowered, is really wild. LOL. The only class to receive little to no update in the last two major updates due to how powerful and good it feels. Maybe maybe it's just like higher skill floor than what I'm used to, or I'm not playing the class right. These guys seem to be alright with it. And that's a fair point. I just haven't experienced it. Absolutely. I just want to shut my brain off and kill things. Yes. I just want to storm bolter. The bolt rifles are in this game. I think it'd be just fine. Yeah, but it would be so sick. I assume he's replying to the fact that it'd be hard to balance. I'm hopeful if they added them, it'd be its own class. I'm similar to Tech Marine getting their guns on their back arm. I would want a class to have a few models of guns that can be mounted under their fists, as their fists are an always on melee weapon if they can't swap out. I don't know why I had so much trouble reading that. It'd be as simple as they can make melee like normal, but then if you ADS, you shoot the guns. I don't even think they need to do that much. I think it's literally just if it worked like that and they did the intercessor or whatever, it would be you would just hold down the shoot uh, button, your mouse button or controller or whatever, and it would shoot with like both arms extended wherever you're aiming. And if you hold down or use the melee button, it just starts using like fist attacks. I can get on board with this, but I agree that damage has to be scaled down to make it more balanced. No. Alternatively, they can make this a new class where the special ability is the frag storm launchers. Yes, kind of like the Chaos Terminator. Yeah, well, yeah, it would just be a fucking Terminator class. Which I'm down for. These weapons would be sick, even though you're absolutely correct about the balance. Cause no, bro. Personally, I want to start by giving every weapon the tabletop devastator can carry, but most pressingly, the las cannon as a properly long-ranged option. That would be fun, but sniper is already losing his fucking identity. Do we really want to make the heavy a new sniper? I think they should make the Bolt Storm gauntlets do similar damage per shot to the bolt pistol and just have full auto fire with a widespread. Makes it hard to aim long range, but excellent at crowd control without having to take the multi-melta, which I personally really dislike. Yeah. Also, it's possible to nerf the heavy's melee perk to make it more balanced. They've done that for other classes, not needed. It would have to be a brand new class, probably. This entire sub has This entire sub has begging for the most insane things to be implemented. There are definitely those that sincerely want them, but majority of people know this also a video game and balancing is a thing. Oh, it's wrong, right answer, wrong reason. I think the people that want them do not care about balance, they just want it because it's fun. But we all know that will never happen. There are some There are some that are naive enough to think it could be added in some sort of massive balancing, animations, and modeling would just be justified for Saber to introduce them into the game. No, they already did that with Tech Marine, which has been around since launch. We knew it was coming eventually. Uh, not this game. I want it too, but not this game. Yeah, you're right. They could just create new weapons to balance the stats and prevent the balance from being tangled up with other classes. That takes a lot of time too. A lot. And disable gun strikes when they are equipped if necessary to balance them. Yeah, that would probably also be a thing. Gauntlet bolters, gauntlet flamers, twin fists. Okay. And they could easily adjust perks, aim time, reload speed, capacity, and not if it's spaghetti. Massive damage fall off at range alone would shift the class into being far more aggressive without their current long range capability and play into the existing melee buffs. Yes. It really wouldn't be hard to make the gauntlets feel fast, badass and destructive without having them be ridiculously OP. Yes, because 130% damage buff is not OP. Not right now. That's an easy fix. You just make the attached bolter equivalent to the tactical auto bolt rifle. They're equal then really just fist over chainsword. And the flamer, just flatten it in a way a heavy bolter is essentially an extension onto the heavy bolt rifle. Wouldn't be that tough. You're basically just giving up your actual heavy weapon for a more versatile build with melee. Yes. Class identity is, if they do it, it's a new class, and they're not doing it this game. And you're all wrong about balancing. It can't be done like that. It can't be done that fast, and this doesn't need to be balanced in the first place.